Morning, everybody. We are on chapter 2 today. So I hope you all did chapter 1 assignments yesterday. All right, so yesterday we basically just read chapter 1. We kind of got to know EllRay and his sister Alfie. Just kind of their relationship, big brother, little sister. They just kind of bicker back and forth. The setting ended up being mostly in her pink and purple castle-like bedroom. And that's Alfie, and basically chapter 1 was just a conversation between two siblings about their friends. So we are going to start on chapter 2. So again, remember, by the end of this, you should be able to tell me about the characters, the events in detail that happened in the chapter, and the setting, okay? In your flip group response after I read the chapter. Got it? Okay. So chapter 2, my possibilities. Okay, so I went to the grand reopening of Eustace B. Pennypacker Memorial Park yesterday without bringing anyone with me. So what? But it made me think about what Alfie said. Maybe I am running out of friends. Friends. Everyone in my class seems to like me just fine, except for Jared Matthews sometimes. But he takes turns being grouchy with everyone. And Stanley Washington is kind of like Jared's personal assistant, the way Fiona McNulty is Cynthia Harrison's personal assistant. So sometimes he stays away from me too. Cynthia says that movie stars have personal assistants, so why not her? It's her latest thing. Cynthia is basically the girl version of Jared in our class, only worse. She thinks faster than Jared and she speaks up quicker. I will take a new look at all the guys in my class before school starts tomorrow morning. It will be great to make at least one spare friend by this Friday, because that's when Alfie's show is going to be. My new friend and I can sit through that. Then we will all go out for pizza or ice cream, so that'll be fun. And then we can have a sleepover, which will be the most fun of all. I already know Corey can't do it because he has swim practice every Saturday morning. Early, like at 6:30. I already know. Oh, I'm sorry. There are only 10 boys in Miss Sanchez's 3rd grade class, and there are 15 girls. That means the girls are winning in population anyway, but it also means that there are 5 other guys in my class besides Corey, Kevin, Stanley, and Jared for me to be friends with. The 5 extra boys are Major Donaldson, Marco Adair, Nate Marshall, Jason Leffer, and Diego Romero. Page 12. Those are my possibilities. Major mostly hangs out with Marco. In fact, Miss Sanchez sometimes calls him M&M for short. When she calls on Marco in class, though, she usually calls him Mr. Adair, because when she accidentally calls out Marco, someone always says, Bolo! Page 13. And everybody laughs. 3rd graders need easy stuff like that to laugh about, in my opinion. Our school days are long, and we get desperate for entertainment. There are lots of reasons to like Marco Adair. He's always fair with the kickballs and with choosing sides when we play games at recess. Also, he can make funny armpit noises better than any other boy in our class. Only on the playground, of course. Miss Sanchez is not the type of lady who would think it's funny when you make your armpit go. Major Donaldson is cool too. In fact, my dad claims that Major has the best name in the world because the word major means so many different things. Number 1, major can mean important, like when someone says, this is really major. Number 2, it also has something to do with music. I forget what. Page 14. Reason 3, and in college, Dad says that your major is something that you study. For example, my dad's major was geology. My mom's major was comparative literature, whatever that means. I don't know yet what major is in college I don't know yet what my major in college will be. Maybe the history of video games? And reason 4, but best of all, a major is very important officer in the armed services like the Army or the Marines. My dad teases, threatening to salute whenever he sees Major Donaldson. That's the kind of sense of humor he has. The only problem is Marco and Major are so tight that it might be hard to squeeze my way into being their friend. There might not be enough room. They've known each other since kindergarten and they're not sick of each other yet. Nate Marshall is another friend possibility though. He doesn't hang with anyone special. His red hair sticks up in front like he's got a red rooster crest there. But on him it looks good, like an exclamation point. The most unusual thing about Nate, that I know of anyway, is how much he knows about cars. Page 15. Well, about vehicles in general. They are his obsession. What he really loves is to explain something like spark plugs, for example. He goes on and on until you can either prove you understand what he's saying, which I hate, or until the school buzzer sounds. Whatever comes first. I'll keep Nate in reserve. He's not perfect, but I could probably fix that. Jason Leffer might be a better friend possibility. His name should be Jason Laffer because he turns into the funny guy in class. At least he did last fall. And he's not just funny with words, even though he does tell a pretty good knock-knock joke, but he also owns a fake dog do and rubber barf, useful prank stuff like that. And he sneaked a whoopee cushion into the school one day a couple of weeks ago. In case you didn't know, a whoopee cushion is a sort of balloon pancake that you blow air into, and then it makes a really gross noise when your joke victims sit on it. Marco Adair, the armpit noise king, thinks it's hysterical, of course, but even Jason doesn't dare try out the whoopee cushion on beautiful Miss Sanchez. Page 16. Miss Sanchez and whoopee cushions do not go together. Also, our class will never forgive Jason if she sat at her desk one day in a pretty dress and made that noise. Nobody wants her to get embarrassed so close to her getting married. The girls all say that her head is filled with wedding stuff, not to mention what the man who is going to be Miss Sanchez's husband would say or do if someone insulted her. His name is Mr. Timberlake, but he's not the famous Mr. Timberlake. Miss Sanchez's Mr. Timberlake runs a sporting goods store full of bats, nets, balls, surfboards, and climbing gear. And he looks like he knows how to play every single sport, surf each giant wave, and climb every mountain, or climbing walls better than anyone. So none of us guys want to make him anything even close to mad. The truth is, lots of kids, like me for instance, secretly wish Miss Sanchez would just stay the same as always, forever, without having a new husband hanging around at open houses and assemblies. She acts different when he's here. Page 17. And she's got enough to think about with us kids, hasn't she? Jason is kind of a chunky guy, but it's mostly muscle, he says, and I believe him. He has buzz-cut hair like the fur on the hedgehog I saw once in a nature book, and his ears stick out a little, but in a good way. You definitely know they're there. I think I could turn Jason into a pretty cool friend, especially if I can get him to stop making jokes and pulling pranks all the time. Stuff like that is funny, and I love funny, but it can wear on a person out after a while. Also, I like the chance to be funny too. My last friend possibility is Diego Romero. My mom says that his name sounds like it belongs to a movie star. And I can tell that a couple of girls in our class kind of like him, even though Diego is a quiet guy. He likes to read. He even reads instructions. And sometimes he brings those really thick books to school to share with Miss Sanchez. But he's not a kiss-up. He's cool. And I think I can loosen him up. Okay, now that I think about it, maybe none of these 5 guys is perfect, but like I said about Nate, I can fix that. Page 18. All I have to do is to hang out with them more, get to know them better, starting tomorrow morning. And then I can choose which kid I want to be my spare friend. Who will it be? Major Marco, Nate, Jason, or Diego. Maybe the winner can even become my personal assistant someday. I know Corey's way too busy winning swim meets and polishing his medals to take on that role, even if he would. But having a personal assistant does sound pretty cool. Now, all I need to do is figure out who the lucky kid will be. It will be great to have a new friend by Friday, the day of Alfie's show. But my long-term goal is to have one by the end of this month, January. Then I'll have a happy new year for sure. And that is the end of chapter 2. So, you know what to do. You know what your assignment is. Go do it. And we will be back for chapter 3 tomorrow.